I'm here with Seth Loudenbeck of Loudenbeck Farms Dairy Goats. Seth, tell us a little bit about your operation, how you got started in the dairy goats, and where you've gone from the beginning.
We used to milk Holstein dairy cows here. We milked here for 50 plus years, and in 2003 our barn burnt and we sold the cows. And then 10 years later, I graduated high school and wanted to continue farming, so we looked at a couple other avenues and decided to go this route. We bought 100 does. Our first go around was a small group of 100 does, and we now have about 650 head.
So you were telling us about that it's a family operation. Who's all involved in the farm here? Yep,
family 100%. You know, my dad and I are here every day doing the ins and outs of the daily to-dos, but you know, everybody's always willing to pitch in a hand, whether it's my siblings, my mom, my grandfather, my uncle, my fiance, you know, everyone, you know, especially during kidding season when we have so many babies to feed, you know, everyone's always, those are everyone's favorite, the babies, you know, they want to feed the babies. So everyone's willing to give a hand with whatever you need.
Sure. So now, with having experience from the dairy cows and milking dairy cows for as long as you did, what are some of the differences or similarities between them and the dairy goat operation?
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, there's both. There's similarities and there's definitely differences. Obviously, they're much smaller animal. Their diet is much different. We don't feed a TMR. You know, we feed straight alfalfa baleage and then a grain mix. You know, similarities. Happy, healthy cows is what everyone strives for to make a lot of milk, and happy, healthy goats are going to do the same thing for you. So it's really, you know, your goal.
So what do you look at as kind of a successful amount in milk production each year, and what do you expect out of your does?
You know, we're still building that as we progress. Obviously, we're always looking to improve on that. You know, right now we strive for about a gallon a day per doe, and that, you know, we're happy with that. But just like cows, you got high producers and low producers. We DHI test just like dairy cows do, and you know, I've seen a doe give 17, 18 pounds in one day, which obviously she's a super producer. And then you have your ones that they break even or they pay the bills, but they're not, you know, anything crazy.
And so you talk about your kidding season. When is that? How does your whole kidding season go for you, and how many, I guess, do you get in certain parts of the year?
Right, so goats are naturally seasonal breeders, so they start heat cycles, you know, in you know, real late summer, early fall, and they'll continue through the winter into early spring, and then they'll kind of taper off. Not that you can use cedars or other forms of heat induction, but we do all natural. We don't do much off-season breeding with any help of cedars or anything. So we'll start breeding in August, and we'll breed all the way through January and February for our last ones. But heavily, we breed August, September, and then December, and probably a little January. So then we're freshening real hard in January and February, and then again in May and June, which gives us enough milk to milk all year long.
So all of these kids that you get every year, you keep a lot of the females, I'm assuming, and, you know, to continue growing your herd. What about these buck kids? Where do you go with those?
Yep. So for the last 8 years, we've really just been focused on growing our herd to a number where we're comfortable with. So we've kept mostly everything, and now we're getting to a point where, you know, we're going to be maybe looking for an outlet for maybe some of our replacement does that we have too many of. And as the buck kids side of things, we have a market for those. They're all sold here with in 2 to 7 days after birth. Usually every weekend during our peak times, we have a buyer who comes and gets them. And right now they're actually heading to southern Indiana is where they end up and are fed out down there. With having so many does now, we've actually bought some boar bucks, which is the meat goat, and we're going to do a little crossbreeding to get some meatier kids to sell for a higher premium, just because we don't need so many replacements anymore.
Well, we'd like to thank Seth and his family for inviting us out today, coming to check out the goats. For Midwest Farm Report, I'm Aaron Zimmerman.